crazy to think that it's almost the end of 2022. Tombs of a Mascot was released just under 2 months ago, and it honestly looks like there's not much planned for the rest of the year. But Jagex is going to come out with their Summit, which is basically their virtual Rune Fest where they announce new things for the upcoming year. I think they're planning on doing that before the end of this year. So today, I want to talk about some ideas that I would love to see from some new bosses. Basically, some new weapons is what I'm going to be focusing on today's video. But before we jump into it, be sure to drop a like and sub if you are enjoying these rambles. Big shout out to the channel members. Thank you guys very much. Now, a lot of these, I wouldn't say even a lot of them. I would say a few of these ideas I've kind of mentioned in the past. And some of these weapon ideas that I'm going to address have already been pulled and we're actually going to come into the game and I still want to see them. So, first thing I want to talk about is a two-handed 3-tick ballista. There are 2 ballistas in the game currently, or ballistae, I should say. There is the heavy ballista and the light ballista. Both of them are basically, well, the light one is garbage, literally. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a person use that besides like a pure, maybe trolling. But the heavy ballista is really only used in PvP. I honestly can't even think of any situation where that would be used over any other, like, best in slot weapon, you know? So the ballistas are not really in a good place for PvM, and I would like to see that change. I think a new ballista, I don't know what the fucking name would, the name of it would be called, but a 3-tick ballista that would obviously give some more use to javelins. I feel like there's actually quite a few bosses or monsters that just drop javelins, but there's really no use for them unless you're PvPing, which is, I guess it's fine, you know, but I really do think ballistas should have an important role to play in PvM. That's just my opinion. I think a 3-tick beast ballista that is just incredibly dominant would just be really fun. I also would love to see enchanted gem-tipped javelins. We see them with bolts. I would even potentially argue that we could maybe see them with arrows. I know most range is already done with arrows, and, you know, obviously bows and arrows are already extremely powerful, so maybe that would be a little bit aggressive to give those enchanted tips as well. But I really would love to see dragon javelins in particular, and maybe the other lesser tiers that nobody will ever fucking use. Give them some variety and give them some little abilities through gem-tipped, enchanted, you know, things similar to bolts. I don't know what the effects would be, although I would be interested in making a video of them and just kind of spewing some ideas, basically. But I really would love to see a ballista, having that come into the game as a PvM weapon, just so we can see a little bit of variety and give javelin some use. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about that. The other thing I want to see is the Heka make a return. Now, I don't want the Heka, and by the way, the Heka is the 2-tick wand that was going to be coming out with Tombs of a Mascot, but they scrapped it and said, let's bring out the Shadow. Shadow's a great weapon, by the way. I love the variety. I love that it's, you know, based off of accuracy and damage, and there's multipliers and stuff. It's kind of cool. But I really would love to see a 2-tick wand. Now, I don't want it to be as complicated as Jagex was originally trying to make it. I think toward the end, it just became this huge jumble of, like, what the fuck is going on? You have to be on different spell books for different abilities. I think we should really just keep it simple and just make it a 2-tick wand. No 4-tick variants here and there. Just keep it 2-tick. Have a weapon that would be nice to use. So, I don't know. I feel like almost in any situation where you need to rapidly kill things, it's blowpipe. It's just blowpipe, blowpipe, blowpipe. Nothing's fucking faster. I guess darts and knives are fine, but obviously the blowpipe has a longer range than both of those, and it's always just worth it. I would love to see a 2-tick wand come out. Doesn't have to be better than a Shadow. Doesn't even have to be close to better than a Shadow. I just think it would be nice to have some variety with Mage. It feels like almost every staff is 4-tick or 5-tick. I can't even think of a 3-tick magic casting weapon right now. So maybe a jump to 2-tick is a little aggressive, but I really do think it's good as long as it's balanced. It's not going to involve any, like, power creep or, you know, just things like that. I think a 2-tick wand would be fantastic coming out. The other thing, I don't know if you guys were able to test it on the Tournament Worlds, I don't even know how long ago, a year ago probably, the Zarite bow that was originally going to come out with Nex, except they scrapped it and gave the Zarite crossbow. I was a bit disappointed, I'm not going to lie. I don't know if you guys even really remember that. The Zarite bow was basically a bow that could shoot out 3 arrows at once, and with you clicking on one target, it would shoot 2 other arrows around the like surrounding vicinity, I guess, and just hit 2 other monsters basically. So it was basically like throwing chins, except it wasn't complete AoE. It was just attacking 2 other monsters and your target. And it was I don't know, it did feel a little bit private server, I'm not gonna lie. It did, but I still want it. I think it would be a really cool weapon. Maybe tone it down a little bit just so it has its niche, but it's not something that's like I need to have this in every situation because it's so fucking good. I really think a Zarite bow could have a place in this game if it's tweaked and balanced properly. I also just think it's a really fun kind of thing to use. If you've ever barraged in the catacombs or just doing any barrage tasks, this would be a great item to lure monsters in. That would be its big niche. Also just kind of like a lesser tier Chinchompa sort of. But one thing that I didn't like when the Zarite bow was being proposed was that it only cost 1 arrow. I didn't really like that. I felt that was really stupid and kind of like a cheapo way. I feel like there's so many fucking arrows in this game. Like, just billions of arrows that are just never going to be used because, you know, I don't know. There's not enough bow usage, and the only bow that's really ever used is like the T-bow, and that's 5 ticks. So, I don't know. I really do think, though, if a Zarite bow were to come out, or you can rename it to whatever, it should cost 3 arrows to shoot out, or as many arrows as you are, you know, shooting. Obviously, it would still have the Ava's effect, but I think that would just be fair to let it cost more arrows, and I think would be a fantastic and really fun weapon to use. Okay, the other thing, this is an idea. Apparently, there's already some sort of concept of this in RS3. I've never played RS3, so I don't really know. But I would love to see Abyssal Knuckles. That's what I'm coining it as. I just threw some words together. Basically, it's like brass knuckles. You're just carrying these 2 just like Hulk gloves, basically. Remember those Hulk gloves? Hulk gloves when we were kids and we just fucking punch each other? I don't know if you guys ever used those. I know like a lot of American kids used to fucking punch each other. I used to with my friends. It was fun. And there was like those little sound buttons too. It would just say like Hulk smash on it. Okay, I'm getting distracted. Anyway, I want to see Abyssal Knuckles. They could be called whatever the hell, you know, anybody wants them to be called. A 2-tick, 2-handed melee weapon, crush based. So right now, the fastest melee weapon is the Ham Joint, or what's the other one? Swiftblade and the Event RPG. Those are 3-tick attacking. I want to see Abyssal Knuckles be 2-tick attacking. And they need to stay 0 strength. Listen, we need to, if these actually do come out, they need to be like heavily balanced. Like, people need to know the calcs and everything, because what's scary about a really fast attacking weapon in any style, honestly, is the power creeps up really fucking fast, especially when like armors get strength upgrades, anything else gets strength upgrades. Those fast attacking weapons become just ever more just broken, basically. We've seen the blowpipe, basically, what happened. Imagine if we still had pre-nerfed blowpipe with Masori. I mean, Jesus Christ. That would just be fucking insane. Anyway, so obviously there would have to be a lot going on. Who knows? Maybe it would even have to be negative strength bonus, potentially, just because of how insanely quick you're going to be attacking. But I would love to see these. And I wanted to have a special attack. Now, hear me out. This might be insane, but what if there was a special attack? Who knows? Maybe it costs 50% of your special, or maybe it costs 100. But what it would do is it would give you 6 seconds. I'm going to say 6. I don't want to shoot up to 12 because I think that might just be a little aggressive. But maybe 6 seconds, which would be 10 total. Okay, sorry. I should say this first. 6 seconds of you being able to attack at double speed. So a tick is 0.6 seconds, which would mean normally you could get 5 hits within 6 seconds with the Knuckles. This would give it so the next 10 attacks are 1 tick. Just boom, 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 boom. You're just fucking demolishing this, you know, whatever you're attacking. Now, there are some downsides to it. One of them is, as we've seen with Blowpipe, it's really easy to miss ticks. And it would be incredibly easy to miss ticks with melee targets. So this would not be used everywhere, obviously. It would be really good for like Slayer tasks and just random shit that's kind of lower defense and you're not having to move much. And I honestly think it would just be a really fun weapon to use. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Let me know down in the comments. That was something I was kind of thinking of. And then I think the special attack alone would just be incredibly fun to use. Just smashing something at 1 tick that's actually in the main game. We've never seen 1 tick weapons in the main game, which, you know, as a special attack, I think it's fair. I think it would be a lot of fucking fun to use. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about that. Now, something that was brought up on the late cast was just the annoyance of having to switch ammo. So, for example, if you're bringing out a T-bow and a ZCB out to Raids 3, it's really annoying when you accidentally misclick your ammo or you kind of forget that you don't really know what ammo's in, so you just kind of try to shoot your bow, and then you have bolts equipped, and then there's this weird, awkward delay. First of all, that should be fixed regardless. I don't know why there's like a crazy delay after shooting with no ammo, even though you didn't shoot anything. It's kind of silly. I think that should be fixed. Also, something that should be fixed, this is completely off topic, I still can't hit monsters underneath my thrall. What the fuck? Like, that's a bug that needs to get fixed ASAP. Anyway, besides that, I would love to see, you know, this would obviously cause a little bit of, I don't know. I feel like players would get a little bit annoyed with this just because if any interface is ever fucked with, it feels like it's not the same game anymore. Purists get really upset. But I would love to see multiple ammo slots being given in the equipment tab. I would love to see 3 ammo slots, one that can hold bolts, arrows, and javelins. So you can always just have one type of each, and whatever weapon you're using, it would obviously just register what you're about to shoot out, and it would just do it. So you can always just have 3 ammo slots. That's not busted in any way. It would just look a little silly initially. And I'd also love to just see an exclusive dedicated blessing slot. So you can always have a blessing, and you can have 3 ammo slots. You can just always have your ammo in there, always have your blessing in there. Now, let me know what you guys think about that. I don't think there should be a problem with that. But again, these are just ideas kind of spawning in my mind. So there might be some consequences to that. But let me know what you guys think about that. And something that's also been brought up quite a bit, and it's not just on my rambles or Sebay casts. I've seen it on Reddit. I've seen it on Twitter. Double ring slots. Let me know what you guys think about double ring slots. Now, maybe you can't equip the same ring twice, so you'd have to choose 2 different rings. I know I've heard the idea of like having a utility ring that would have no stats and then having another ring that does have the stats. I don't think that would be as fun. I think it would be actually really cool to just have 2 rings, but you couldn't equip 2 B rings, for example. I don't even know how the brimstone would work because I wouldn't really want to see like a brimstone and a B ring. I would want to see it kind of be like, I don't know, 2 completely separate rings that can be used at once. That might be a little weird. I'm not exactly sure how that would work out. Although I think, you know, it could have some potential. Now, one of the prayers actually that was proposed with TOB release was a prayer called Judgment. I believe that's what it was called. And I've brought this up in the past many times. With my idea of a judgment prayer, it would be a level 85 prayer right ahead of augury, and it would fill in that little extra space that we have on the prayer book. And what judgment is basically, it's sort of like a chivalry, piety, augury, or rigor, which is, you know, it's not an overhead. You can use it. You can only use one at a time. Judgment could not be used simultaneously with piety or any other prayer, any other offensive prayer like that. But what Judgment does is it doubles accuracy on all styles with no damage multiplier or defense multiplier. So what it does is if you really want to hit a spec or you really just want to finish this kill off, you can pray Judgment instead of piety. So let's just say you're trying to finish off a mob and you're attacking it with melee. Switch to Judgment toward the end of the kill and you get a little bit more not a little bit, you get double accuracy right there. So I don't know how it would exactly work out in situations. I don't know if that's too broken of a prayer, maybe a bit underwhelming. I'm not exactly sure. Obviously, a lot of DPS calcs would tell us that. But I would love to see an accuracy-based prayer that is just something you can switch to when you really just want to hit. You're sick of seeing the zeros, you know? That's what I would love to see from a new boss. Now, all of these things that I've just mentioned, I would love to see come from new bosses. If you guys want to see a video of me kind of maybe describing what I'd like to see from new bosses or new dungeons or just kind of like demi raids in a way, like a gauntlet. I consider gauntlet like a demi raid, sort of. Let me know if you guys want to see a video like that in the future. I also want to hear from you guys. What weapons or potentially armor or prayers would you guys like to see down in the comments? Describe it to us. Let's hear it. I always love hearing about new niche weapons and things that can come out. Now, raids are really supposed to be the big ticket items, and I love these kind of bosses that fill in the gaps between raids that can kind of fill in some niches and just have a little bit more variety, not just like a new best in slot melee weapon that's just dominant everywhere. So that's it from me, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this little ramble, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace out.